Jersey girl, held the promise of spring. The dreaded yellow pollen that finally and annoyingly dusted everything, everywhere, had come and gone and left the faint scent of mud and honeysuckle in the air. That morning, I had stood with a cup of coffee in hand for a long time, just staring out the sliding glass doors, enveloped by the emerald curtain of moss-covered trees, providing a private reserve around the back of our house. Just standing still seemed like a vacation. With my husband, Harvey, a rabbi, off to work, and the kids out the door, I actually had time to read the paper, obsess over lengthening to-do lists, and check my emails. With our golden retriever, Chancer, sprawled like a 24-karat rug nearby, I experienced a rare moment. Life was good. Nearing 13, Iyal and his sister Morasha were changing before my eyes, not just physically, but emotionally. Adolescence had kicked in, and so I never knew who would return from school that day, the boy and girl I once recognized, or the strangers taking over their bodies. That day, it was the latter. Iyal and Morasha burst through the door like a hurricane reaching shore and began peeling away backpacks, jackets, shoes, all the while shouting at each other. Chancer immediately descended on Iyal with licks and kisses, paying special attention to read his mood. Iyal seemed especially irritable and exhausted, overwhelmed by trying to translate the day's activities and academics into something meaningful, which was virtually impossible. They made a beeline for the kitchen, not to see me so much as to scavenge the pantry and root around in the fridge for snacks, with Chancer on their heels. "Hey there," I said, trying to sound nonchalant, which I thought important around preteens, and as welcoming and cheerful as possible, determined to show no grief for the end of my solitude. Not that they would notice if I had turned into Spider-Woman cleaning cobwebs around the house, while they, mere mortals, scrambled around the kitchen. "How was your day, honey?" Iyal ignored me as he began frenetically shuffling boxes and cans around in the pantry, quickly exasperated. "Fine," mumbled Morasha. "But I really need to study for my history test if I'm going to get an A this semester, because we got our group project grades back, and we only got a B. Didn't I tell you this would happen? I don't know why Mrs. Stevens couldn't just let us do it by ourselves." "Mom," Iyal demanded in his abrupt staccato delivery, "where are the cookies? You know, the Oreos." Staying calm, I soothed him. "Don't you see them in the pantry?" "No," he roared his response. "They're not in the pantry. I already told you." "Mom, did you call Alicia's mother today about the sleepover this weekend?" asked Morasha. "You said you would do it yesterday, so I hope you didn't forget again." Without responding to Morasha's insinuation of middle-aged memory loss, I drew on my quickly draining reservoir of peace and serenity, forget namaste, and suggested, "Did you look on the second shelf? I saw them there." "Yes, they're not there," I said. "I can never find them. I give up." Iyal slammed the pantry door just to make sure we heard him in all caps. "Yes, I called Alicia's mother," I told my daughter. "It's all set." "Thanks, Mom," she said, rewarding me with one of her scarce smiles before diving into the details of the sleepover. I nodded and stood from my chair at the kitchen table in my perpetual attempt to connect with Iyal. "Here, honey, let me help you," I offered, while also trying to keep eye contact with Morasha. I felt like a ping-pong ball being swatted back and forth as the inevitable competition between them escalated, each vying for my singular attention while simultaneously attempting to aggravate the other into submission. "No," he yelled and pulled away from me. "You can't help me. Nobody can. This is the worst day of my life." Then, shoving past me, he boomed, "I'm running away," and wrenched open the glass door, thundering outside to the deck before disappearing around the corner to his left. Meanwhile, Morasha continued talking about what she wanted to wear this weekend and when I would take her to the mall.